for you guys heading into the playoffs as the defending or the reigning champion as opposed to a year ago when you were heading in just, trying to get there?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's the approach and just understanding that, come Saturday, there are 15 other teams that want what we have. And we have the World Championship trophy, and everybody's trying to take it from us. So last year, we didn't have that. We were a one seed, and we had the one seed wrapped up for a while, and we went into the playoffs kind of very hungry and trying to do something special. But now you win a championship, and now comes a very hungry Laker team who's pissed off that we've beaten them 8 straight times. And then you have teams waiting for you in the next round that talent in the Western Conference. I mean, like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, they're a 6 seed. I mean, so I think the biggest thing for me is just understanding that now you've gone from being a team that is trying to get your first championship to now it's changed because now we're trying to keep it. We're trying to be selfish, keep it, fight for it, whatever we have to do to not let somebody take it from us.
Michael, you've talked about sort of your philosophy being to want to have Nikola or Jamal on the floor at all times. Generally, obviously, it's tougher to do that when Jamal's on a minutes restriction, but do you kind of treat that as the gospel again and get back to that as much as possible in the playoffs?
Yeah, likely. I think it's always in our best interest to have one of our 2 best players on the floor. If you guys have noticed, I've been running Nikola the first quarter a lot of times. So in the past, it was get Jamal out of the 6. He can come back in for Nikola around the 3. Joker is a thoroughbred, man. So if I run him the whole quarter, I can get Jamal back in to start that second quarter. But one of those guys will likely always be on the court.
What facet of the game in the NBA occurs during the regular season and changes in the postseason? What's the biggest difference?
Physicality. The game slows down. The Lakers are a great running team. We're a pretty good running team. But the game slows down. It becomes more of a half-court basketball game. Those easy baskets are much harder to come by in general. And then the physicality. I think they let us play a little bit more. Each possession is a lot more critical and crucial to your success. But I would say, Vic, for me, it's just the overall, I think the physicality is what stands out to me, the biggest difference, 82 regular season into postseason.
Coach, you've mentioned defensive transition as a major factor in this series. When you've got a guy like LeBron on the other side of the floor, who's one of the best transition players of all time, just what are the really keys, the pickup points necessarily with him and just trying to get out to their shooters as well?
Well, what makes them a great running team is that they don't just run off of turnovers. They don't just run off of misses. They miss turnovers. They run all night long. And so the guy like LeBron, who averages over 5 fast break points per game by himself, against us, that number jumps up to 6.5. You don't want to fuel the break. I thought New Orleans got in trouble in that second quarter, playing in a crowd, turned the ball over, and that's what got the Lakers going. So you can't fuel their break. You have to make them play in the half court. But with LeBron, he's a great passer. He's a one-man break. He's a freight train. So you have to have pickup points, but it's not one play in the league can guard him. So there's got to be a crowd around him. What we call it, Ryan, is you got to stop and load to the ball. He's got to see bodies. And then that's the hard part, is because when you put bodies on him, he's a great passer. He's going to find the open man. You have to have multiple effort behind it. But don't fuel the break. Make him play in the half court as best as possible and make him see a crowd as much as possible.
The Lakers have gotten this look where they use LeBron as the screener. They've done that pretty much every single game of the regular season this year, conference finals last year. What makes that action so tough to guard, and what are some of the things you guys can do to mitigate LeBron as a screener's success?
Well, we'll not give you a game plan. What we're going to try to do. But you're right. It's a really important point because Bron's a great screener because he's physical. He sets a great screen, and he seals the defender. And so now Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, as he's sealing that defender and rolling to the rim, and he's putting his hand out, he's getting behind our defense. So now when he catches, it's in essence a 4-on-3 behind that. But I think, we've gone over that the last couple of days. We've watched a lot of film, had a lot of healthy debates as a coaching staff on the best way to try and guard it. But the reality is, we have 3 ways to guard it. You can't give LeBron the same look. And what we're going to try to do is not going to work all the time. So you have to have a plan B. You have to have a plan C. But we have to match his physicality. We have to be into the ball and have ball pressure, and not just be an easy screening target. Now he can steal that and get under you. But definite challenge, and something that he and they as a team do exceptionally well.
Is it difficult for someone like LeBron who has such like high usage to play like that, where you're setting ball screens over and over, playing like a really physical game that way?
I think for most people you think it would, but I mean, what is it, year 21? And the guy is just getting better. I mean, he had a career high from the three-point line this year. It's really amazing when you sit back as a fan of the game, and not just his body of work, but what he's doing in present day. It's incredible. So, yeah, I hope he gets tired. I hope he wears down. But I've seen no signs of LeBron James slowing down by any means. And I think it's going to be another hell of a challenge for our group. To guard, they got 2 All-Stars. They have 2 All-NBA players. And then they have also guys like D'Angelo, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and players off the bench that 12-3 in their last 15, that they found a nice rhythm with that lineup, and they're playing at a high level.
Do we make too much of a big deal of setting the tone in game ones of playoff series, or does it actually carry weight? You know, you guys had success last year, obviously winning game ones, or do we make too much big deal of that?
Well, I mean, if you win game 1, I think it's a great point. If you lose game 1, I think you made too much of a point. No, I mean, well, the bottom line is, whether you win or lose game 1, my message is always the same. It's a long series. It's the first team to 4. If you win, you don't get too high, and if you lose, you don't get too low. We're going to have to make adjustments regardless of win or loss. But I think for us, we have been a great home team. We had 33 home wins this year. I think we had 34 last year. We only lost 1 home game in the entirety of the playoff run last season. So we want to make sure that we're protecting our home court, and that coincides with winning game 1. So, yeah, we want to get off to a great start and send a message.
Michael, we've obviously seen Jamal elevate his game in the postseason. Last few times he's been available. Did you notice anything different about him this time of year?
You know, it's nothing tangible, nothing I could really put my finger on. To your point, I think you're right, Vinny. I mean, what Jamal's postseason performances, stats, the way he elevates his game is just incredible. I don't remember a player in recent memory who can after the regular season play at that level. And it's unfortunate, like, he's never been an all-star. But you can't tell me that Jamal Murray's not one of the best guards in the NBA. One of the best guards in the world. I mean, in the playoffs last year, in the NBA Finals, the guy was just a machine. So maybe he's more locked in. Maybe he's more, there's no back-to-backs. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. But what I do know is I love watching Jamal in the postseason, how locked in and engaged he is. And today, yesterday we had a good practice. Today's practice I thought was exceptional. Guys were really locked in. The energy was where you would want it. Guys were disciplined. They understood what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor. And so you walk out of here feeling really good about where we are going into tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Vic, you all right?